Hey guys, I had this elaborate moment of inspiration today. I was listening to some music by one of my favorite bands. It's a band called Theocracy. If you're interested, go check them out. But one of the things that they said in one of their lyrics I kind of disagreed with. And it got me thinking about Acts chapter 6. You know, the book of Acts is the next part of the story from the book of Luke. Like Luke, who was a doctor and a professional, right? He traveled with Paul and saw a whole bunch of amazing stuff and said, oh, well, this needs to get written down, right? So what the book of Luke is a collection of testimonies from eyewitnesses. And the book of Acts is the continuation of that story. In fact, it starts and ends at the same point and continues from where he left off. So as we read the gospel according to Luke, you realize that it's the story of Jesus Christ as he's come to earth and as he's gearing up and then eventually fulfilling his purpose to leave the earth and come back again, which he does. But then we have the book of Acts, which starts with the apostles meeting Jesus again since he's come back from the dead. Now that's huge. We just had Easter, and it's not a coincidence that this stuff has coincided with these dates, but I want you to think about that for a second. See, the line in the song that got me thinking was this thing that said that Jesus is the end of God's story. And that's where I disagree. That the moment of crucifixion, according to them, was the conclusion of the whole story of the Bible. Now, what took place later is more significant, some would argue, than the crucifixion. What took place after was the resurrection. See, the crucifixion happened over and over again, thousands of times, all over Rome and its provinces. Not of Jesus. That happened once and for all. The crucifixions were happening everywhere. And why that's significant is there was only one resurrection from a crucifixion. There was only one time in the entirety of history where somebody came back from the dead in the fulfillment of prophecy. So the end to the apostles' sorrow and dread and fear was actually the beginning for us, Christians, who were learned and taught by apostles, disciples, and disciples, right? See, the story doesn't end there, and the book of Revelation is the promise that there will be a real conclusion to the story. But the significant thing is that Jesus' ending isn't the end of the story. The New Testament doesn't end the Bible. It's not the dramatic conclusion to the story of Abraham and his family. It's the beginning of the revelation. See, the revelation isn't that Abraham's family is important. The revelation isn't that God chose Abraham. The revelation is God is choosing you to be a part of his story. That you get to be involved in this amazing tapestry of creation. All throughout the universe, he's weaved and he's moved. He's moving and will move. He is through us. And what we get to choose as believers is to be part of that story. As we look at Acts chapter 7, you can see Stephen give a speech to a group called the Sanhedrin. Now, they were upset because he was sharing the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ. And he did not hold back. What he does in this speech, this sermon, was he presented the entire story of Scripture the history of God's involvement through all of creation in this one moment. Look, in this Bible, it's just a few short pages. Look, it starts there, and it ends right about there, when Stephen gets hit by a bunch of rocks until he's dead from it, right? I'm not saying the life of a Christian is easy, and neither is Stephen. I am saying that if Stephen can summarize the entire Old Testament in a page, but the story isn't over, then the choice is ours. So, going forward, I want to ask you a question, and I want to get involved in a discussion. See, we're not going to find a way, just sit still and wait for this to pass. We're going to grow and we're going to move, and you're going to be called to action now, just like I have been. So going forward, what I'm going to try and do every week, and you've got to forgive me if I don't, because I'm going to try my best, but to make a video with a short lesson. All right, I'm going to try and keep it to 10 or 15 minutes, but I'm going to post those on Tuesday. All right, and that's it. That's super easy. Now, I'd love it if you read along with me. So coming out of the next thing, I want you to be reading what we're going to have next week, okay? I'm also going to still do Sunday, so we're going to get to that one. But after Tuesdays at 3 o'clock, oh, wrong color. Wrong color! Wrong color. Meet me on Zoom, all right? If you've ever set foot in this church, or you've never set foot in this church, and you've got questions about my video, right, the one we just watched on Tuesday, then join me on Zoom at 3 o'clock on Wednesdays, all right? 3 o'clock, Zoom. It's just going to be an hour, all right? Just join me on there. We'll play a couple games. We'll have some fun. We'll pray together, and we'll talk about this God stuff. All right? This isn't going to be super intense. This is going to be real. It's so important that you guys are able and find that you're safe to talk about the stuff that's bugging you and have a safe place to do that. So that's Wednesdays at 3 o'clock. And finally, on Sunday mornings, I am going to continue to do our lessons with the rest of the church. Brad's been doing a great job keeping up with the adults, but I'm just going to try and make it more relatable to those who are spiritually and mentally immature like myself, so we can actually understand what's going on rather than, be thou thee therefore warned. All right, I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying that's not my layer of learning. So let's keep it real. Now, if you have anything you want to pray over, anything you want help with, anything you need, you know you can call me, you can text me, you can call the office, get a message to me, you can talk to Miss Amber, you can talk to Brother David, you can talk to Miss Vonnie, you can talk to Miss Heather. We're here for you. So give us the opportunity to help you. Please, remember that we love you and we miss you desperately. Remember that there is no greater story than the story that you're given an opportunity to join in on, and that's the story of God's people in creation. So please join us in this story. We here at Temple thank you for your attention and your time. Have a blessed day.